Are we live?
Yep.
Nice warm up with Enrique, guys. Might have gone a little too intense. Just kidding. Guys, welcome to episode 41. I will tell you a funny story. This actually happened some years ago. We had a buddy night at the academy where people brought friends, and we had a huge class, about maybe 40, 50 people. Probably 20, 25 people, new people to do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So, you know, we just explained some concepts and some moves, and then one guy had a bright idea. He said, "Hey, Fox, why don't you show them what Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu looks like under live conditions?" So I said, "Yeah, sounds great, let's do it." So I took Sergio, who was at the time, I think he was a good blue belt, maybe low purple belt, but he's one of my good black belts now. And I snapped his head down. For some reason, he panicked. And as he panicked, he came up real hard and popped me under my chin. My teeth, you know, clanked, and usually when I feel pain, I go into another dimension. So next thing you know, I'm on the mats for about 3-5 minutes, beating the piss out of Sergio, who's wondering what the hell happened. And then I start to come to, and then I realize there's like 40, 50 people staring at me like this. Needless to say, the buddy night was a complete failure. Everybody was like, "We'll be in touch." So, again, guys, if you get a flow roll nice, we did. So, guys, we have a full program today. We're going to start with a takedown because that was the intention yesterday, but I forgot. So today we're going to do it. So, we're going to start with a variation of HARAI GOSHI. You're going to ask me, "Fox, you told us you're very bad with names. How did you remember this?" 2 reasons. Actually, the second one is more important. First one is, I like this one a lot. Second, that's probably I don't know, I probably would have forgotten the name, but I have it written down right underneath Mike. So guys, this is, you can use this, you can do it gi, no gi, you can do, it's been done with sort of headlocks, it's been done with overhooks. I like the underhook, okay? So, and I'm lifting, okay? What I do now is back step and hook his leg. The key, guys, this is a pretty brutal throw. I usually, of course, you try to control the guy's arm, but a lot of times I don't, because I want to have, if this throw goes awry, I want my training partner to be able to post, all right? And what I'm doing now is I'm lifting. Yeah, I told you it was brutal. I told you to stretch. Guys, it works really well. It works well in MMA. It works well in gi or no gi, and I really like it. But you know, it's kind of not easy to train. It's a little bit higher level toss, because if you have 2 relatively new guys training this, the guy doing it is coming hard on the ribs, and a lot of times if people do it wrong, you can really tweak your training partner's knee. So you got to be really, really careful with this. My philosophy, generally speaking, I try to take my opponent down. So, for example, if I have a guy that starts to keep his hips really away, and I'm not getting close to his hips, and I feel like there's not a hole, I can't even reach his ankles, what I'll do is just pull. You know, right now, even though I pulled, I have something very nice here. You know, I have, you know, sometimes I may be able to submit the guy right away. If I can't, you know, there's a lot of things I could do with this arm. Take his back. So, you know, pulling guard, basically my philosophy with takedowns, I will attempt takedowns, even on guys that are way bigger than me, knowing that probably I will not take them down. But when they start to push back, it gives me an opportunity to pull in a very favorable way to me, where I can either, as they're pushing forward, I can either pull and sweep them immediately, or wind up with an isolated arm, and then I go to town. So let's look at the HARAI GOSHI again. So I personally like it with an underhook. So it allows me to lift my training partner a little bit. I want his foot to come off the ground, And now, guys, we wind up in a very favorable position on top. Okay? So, guys, one thing that, so remember this position, all right? One thing that I want to talk about, and that's very, very important for a high-level game, I think, is to take advantage of sort of natural flow. Don't, you know, as you become more advanced in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or submission grappling, whatever you want to call it, you want to make sure that you start to take opportunities as they come up. So when I land on Enrique in this position, you want me to do the toss again? So I wind up in this position. So guys, you know, paint by numbers might tell you, okay, from here you mount and you do, you know, you finish with an arm lock. But you have, so this is where I wound up, right? Like this. So I have two beautiful submissions right away available to me without making even a move. First one obviously is guys, I barely twitched on this one. I landed like this, right? So all I do is just connect my hands and we have a very strong baseball bat choke. All right? It's natural, it's right there. I'm not giving up position. So if you accomplish a takedown or a guard pass which results in a strong top cross side, what I mean by strong top cross side, it's this. There's a difference. If Enrique landed like this, nice and tight, you know, that's a different animal from this is very strong where he's wide open. Take advantage of that opening quickly. You're not giving up anything. You're not, even if it doesn't work or, you know, where's he going? So wind up here. He's going nowhere right now. If I hit him with a baseball bat choke, even if he starts to try to come towards me, can somebody tell me what I'm going to do to him next?
Waiting for the replies to come in.
I'm already. So I have two options right
John
here.
Grappler and Manny Nieves says guillotine.
Yes. So if I feel like I can force him back down because my chest is serving as a stop for him, I will go for one-handed guillotine. Or if I can't, I transition into my style no arm guillotine. So I'm not really giving up anything by trying a quick and efficient submission. It's right there off the takedown. All right? So again, guys, pay attention. So today's lesson is, yeah, we're going to go over some techniques, but also there's an overarching theme, and that is take advantage of the opportunity that is presented to you with very little effort and kind of surprising your opponent. Surprise. So, you know, without sort of like, okay, I took you down, I will hold for 3 seconds. Yeah, I will hold for 3 seconds if I feel I need the points. But I'd rather, if I feel I have a very strong possibility of an immediate submission, I'd rather take that. Because that opportunity may be gone in 3 seconds. Okay? So let's look at, we're going to do the toss one more time. So we'll look at it like immediately, like just the flow, it's right then and there. If he flies in a different direction or flies in a different trajectory, I may switch it up, but that's the plan. So again, oh yeah, that's it. My hand got caught, so it was not as quick, but it's okay. It still works even when he got to the side because his neck is so exposed. All right, but notice how my chest is positioned, so he cannot go any further than this. Go, keep going. This is where he has to stop. So now that allows me to regrip if I have to. All right, so when you're doing this, guys, I need to make sure that I stop him from doing anything other than what I have in store for him, which is baseball bat choke or guillotine. Okay? Do we have any questions on this so far, Mike, or
Yes.
I'm moving right along?
Now we have some questions. We have a lot of check-ins. We have check-ins in the 4141 Club.
Nice.
We also have people checking in from Canada, California, Singapore, Costa Rica, Netherlands, Vancouver, Colombia.
You know Vancouver's in Canada too, right?
I was just reading. And we also...
I might have to do remedial geography lessons with these two guys.
I was in the flow.
Okay, keep going.
And Camel is checking in from Holland. He asked, what if the guy has a thick and strong neck?
Well, is he fat or is he juiced? Because the guys that tend to be juiced, the veins tend to be very close to the surface, so they're really easy to submit. So what I would do is, if I thought that, you know, or if as he lands, he tucks in his neck, right? So if he tucks in his neck, my next submission is going to be this. Come on up. So that's my natural flow. I always like to be in a position where I have strangles and joint locks available to me at the same time. Sometimes, you know, we've gone over like you have literally double submission at the same time, meaning that, for example, inverted triangles, you have a strangle and you can attack the arm at the same time. In this case, I have to choose one or the other, but I have a strangle on the neck, baseball bat choke, or I have the arm lock, and it's up to me to figure out which one is more likely to happen. So it's a very easy. When I landed, again, we landed here, right? So I could just sit back. This is a very strong submission. We talked about this one in you can tap anytime you want. I'm not expecting you to have your arm broken while I'm talking. Anytime, I really love this arm lock for a variety of reasons. One, especially as a teaching tool. It teaches people a lot about angles, grips, fulcrum, and possible follow-up, the triangle being the follow-up. So probably out of all, if you can do this arm lock well and consistently, your arm locking abilities in other areas of or other positions, be it from the guard, be it from the top, be it mounted, be it, you know, from top cross side, significantly improve. Because by doing this consistently well, you learn to understand those four things: angles, grips, follow-ups, and fulcrums. All right? So again, when we land, if I feel that for whatever reason I don't have this, I can always just let tap. So this is finished. If he tries to come up, I'm going straight into a triangle.
And another question that we have, this is from the Cams K on YouTube. Do you like the far bicep control or wrist control for the HARAI GOSHI?
I usually will not take any control. And the reason is that's how I practice it, because I think it's safer for your training partner. I think it's easier to control the wrist, because when you try to control the bicep, you sort of start to reach and your hips start to come forward, where Enrique can counter me. So if I'm going here, my hips start to start to counter. Yeah, and now I have to counter him. So on this one, until I decide to make a move, I want to keep my hips away. By controlling, yeah, it allows him to start to counter me. So I prefer the wrist, but a lot of times I just let him have it. Because my fallback, pardon the pun, is that if I can't get to the leg, a lot of things can happen from here. I will pull. Guys, understand that the sort of the origami guard pull is extremely effective. Extremely effective. If I ever get that grip, I'm pulling. I need his hips away. If his hips are forward, I have other things. I have takedowns available to me. But if his hips are far away and I have an underhook, I'm pulling. Because I will make something happen almost for sure.
And Vincent MMA Life asks, Coach, how do you defend the standing guillotine from a way bigger opponent if he picks your legs up from the floor once he is choking you?
Yeah, that's.
Antonio Sotillo said
Did you pay him
you tap.
to ask that question? Oh, let's go. So Enrique's not way bigger. He's within the rounding error 20 pounds of me, but so go ahead. You gotta be lifting. No, you gotta, you know, like lifting where my legs come off. Lifting. It sucks, guys. Don't get me wrong. Ask Vince if Enrique paid him off. He got back at me. So I block the leg, and the other hand goes over his head. When you feel like you've sort of stopped the momentum on the guillotine, take him down. And what is the next? Once I take him down, what is the next logical thing that I'm going to do to him? You guys know the answer. If you're in the 41-41 club, you know the answer, guys.
Waiting for the replies to come in. Dave Jocelyn says Von Flew.
Yes, exactly. Then I punish him.
And another question. This is from AGU 26 Professor Fox. What is the difference between your arm lock and the general arm lock many are doing?
There's a lot of little things. Guys, there's a lot of little things that go into having a very effective arm lock game. You know, if you look at even simple things, you know, a triangle is one of the fundamental techniques in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Like everybody if you train for 6 months, everybody knows triangle. Do that. You have, you know, very high level guys teaching it a certain way, and I find that for me not to be that effective, and I have to do it in a way that works for me. With arm locks, it's the same thing. For example, you know, people when they arm lock somebody from the guard or whatever, they want to, their feet are going to be like this because it feels like they have a lot of power. All right. But if you think about it, as you go down with your ankles flexed, what it does, it sort of prevents you from arching out effectively. Me personally, I teach it like this: ankles flexed out. I know there's a word for each one of those, but there's a lot of little things as far as control, as far as angles, as far as grips and so forth, that you know, I'm not saying it's unique to me, but it might be different from the way others do it.
And
I like that same side arm lock. It's a very oddball submission, but if you play around with it as a training tool, guys, it will significantly improve your arm lock finishing percentages.
And on Facebook, H. Bruce Happy Jam says, checking in from Kentucky. Thanks for doing the
Long time
overall.
no speak, yeah.
He said, thanks for doing the Overrollers podcast with me last night, Fox.
It was my pleasure. What's your dog's name again? He will respond. So, while we're waiting for the response, let's move on. So, I'm on top. So guys, when you have an effective topside game, one of the things you need to pay attention to is sometimes, especially if I had an underhook, right? When you toss somebody, it's possible you toss them with too much velocity, and this was what's going to happen. Okay? So, one of the very important things is what I'll usually do is if I think I can fight it, I stretch my body out to give him the most weight resistance. But sometimes you can't fight it. So first I'll show you what I do is what I feel like being rolled through. So go ahead. give it a little bit more heft. All right, but sometimes you can't help it. So don't just turn over like this. All right. As I'm flying through the air, I'm already getting ready for the landing and follow-ups. Oh, 10 minutes. So as you're going, guys, you already should be thinking, okay, where am I going to land? How can I transition? You have somewhat limited ability to transition, but how can I make my landing more effective? Your landing being more effective should be you should be thinking about something. Can I start at least get one of my feet on his hips? If you could accomplish that as you're going through the air, and usually that's done just purely by angling your hips, almost like shrimping midair. But if you can do that, when you land, you're going to be in a position to immediately either attack or possibly re-sweep your opponent. Okay? So as I'm flying, guys, look what I'm doing. I'm pushing off my right leg to land in this position. So congratulations on your sweep. Well, it's not really a sweep, it's a reversal.
Tap.
It may not necessarily be that simple where, you know, the guy turns you over, you arm lock him, but the idea is I'm landing in a way that allows me to attack immediately rather than just say, oh crap, what happened? And, you know, it's just kind of like air letting out of the tire and it's just, oh man, you know, now I'm on the bottom, not gonna, no, I'm already attacking, okay? So let's look at that idea again. So, as I'm already pushing off my right leg, so this time I could not get my foot on the hip, but somehow I made an arm lock anyways out of it. So as I'm going, I'm transitioning. And sometimes I just post, if I can't post my foot on his hip, I'm posting my upper thigh, I'm posting my knee to just change the angle. So I don't land completely in his position because now we just reverse position. He was in a very prone bottom of cross side. Now he turned me over and now I'm in a prone. No, I'm landing in a unprone. I might have invented a new word, guys.
He said his dog's name is Fox.
Yeah.
He said the slyest dog I've ever had, positively sneaky.
Guys, do we have any questions on this? Again, this is a very important concept. It's going to take you some time to implement it, but it's very, very effective. As if you do get turned, sort of start to think, where am I going to land and what I'm going to do with it, and do I have the ability to change how I'm landing in a more favorable angle?
Anthony Sotia asked, when teaching, you focus on what you like or teach a wide range so everyone picks their own thing and style?
Wide range. First of all, wide range. If I teach things that are not, my game is pretty broad, but if I teach things that are not my go-to game, it forces me to get better at them, number one, but also more importantly, it allows my students that maybe they have the personality and the body type to have those techniques to absorb them and make them their go-to moves, even though they might not be mine. That said, I am a big fan. I don't care how big you are, how strong you are. You need to. If you're in my school, you will have a good guard. To me, a guard is sort of the one thing that makes Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu different from a lot of martial arts. You don't have to know anything. If you're on top and start pounding, if you have no grappling whatsoever, you're doing fine. If you're on the bottom, that's when Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu truly shines. Makes people are very, very dangerous from the bottom. So even in big, strong guys, I constantly encourage them to develop a good guard.
And Bob Adams on YouTube is asking, wondering how to get the podcast they were talking about from last night. Would love to listen to that. Thank you.
I think H. Bruce tagged me in it this morning, I believe. So I will share it. It's going to be on my. I did one last night, and I did another one the night before. But I usually share these on my wall. I haven't had a chance to do it this morning, so I will share it as well. So it was a great. It was a lot of fun. It's always fun for me to do these things.
So it'll be on your Facebook under Silver Fox, so they can find you.
It's going to be under this account on Facebook. Yeah, I will share it.
And on Instagram, Meister Squid asked, does it work similar to Kesagatami? Also, best regards from Q.
Different. Is he talking about the Armlock?
Yes.
No, it's different. It's different.
And Bruce said, I'll put up the link on Facebook when it publishes.
Okay.
And another question is, just paranormal, who is your favorite BJJ practitioner currently? Like, who do you enjoy watching?
All right, let me just come back. I will come back to that question. So if I wind up here, what I would try to do is separate his arms and finish. So if I'm here, guys, I will only do that as a form of punishment. Go ahead, go. Yeah, this is for me. Yeah, I'm pressuring Enrique quite a lot, but this should be. He can escape this. It might be misery, but he should be able to escape it. So if I wind up here, I want to try to isolate the arm if I can. If I can't, what I'm going to try to do is turn and change that positioning quickly. I don't have the there's guys that have used that very effectively, Josh Barnett being one of them. I'm not that guy to use it that effectively. I will use it, I will sit out just to kind of make the guy understand, hey, listen, I may not be the biggest guy, but feel my pressure. But after that, I want to move over to something that's going to be more effective. Now, the people that I love to watch guys that are pretty aggressively hunting for submissions. I love watching Karel Gracie. I love watching Gary Tonin. I love watching Renato Canuto. I love watching Victor Estima. Marcel Garcia at his time also, was very aggressive. So Pro Gracie. I like people that sort of go for the finish. And have a mobile, aggressive submission hunting game. That's sort of what I think the Renzo Gracie tribe is pretty well known for, and sort of that's what I like as well.
And the Kamsi K on YouTube asked, what are your go-to moves from a standing underhook?
Harai Goshi and or Udegatame pull. Or so if add a third one is if I can snap his head down, drag him down onto guillotine, onto knees. So those are the three things. The two of them we went over today, and the third one we went over before. Where if I have a standing underhook, I will either try to toss him with a Harai Goshi. If his hips come away, can I snap him down into sort of a chin strap, drag him down? And third one is, if I can, if he's doing a really good job defending, his hips are far away, but he's not giving me the head snap down, I'll go into it Udegatame, and then I'll either sweep him or submit him. All right, guys, really quick, I want to address two things we had a question on. I addressed them in verbally on Facebook from yesterday. One of them was, if you have the opposite knee on the belly, can you enter a knee bar? Yes, you can, but it's the problem is, in order for me to get my left leg in, it implies, so I have to fall sort of. It takes a little bit of time, and in the process, you might lose the position. So it is possible, it's a good look, but so as I'm doing this, it takes, So I have to fall in and now bring the other one. So it's possible. I personally would attack the upper body. The second one is, are you vulnerable to a back take? Good. Not really. You know, so I need to make sure that if, in order for him to take my back, he needs to sort of attach. Either he's, you know, so if I'm here, I usually drive up my butt high up, and that's when he starts to unravel. So I focus on pinning his shoulders, pinning his arm. If you, and as I'm going through this, there is no back take. Nice. Say hello to my little friend. Hi. So those are the two questions. I verbally addressed them. So now just visually address them. We're out of time. Do we have any other last minute questions?
AG265, Professor Fox, for a takedown, is BJJ technique sufficient, or should we enhance it with others? If so, like judo or wrestling?
Wrestling is you know, judo had banned sort of any sort of grabbing, you know, the legs some years ago, so I'm more partial to wrestling, but you know, they're their own disciplines, and if you spend too much time on either one of them, you know, you're gonna take away from your jiu-jitsu training. So if you have unlimited time to spend on jiu-jitsu, yes, I would encourage you to, you know, pick up some judo or wrestling takedowns. They're always going to help your game. But one thing you do need to understand that both judo as well as wrestling need to be hybridized or adjusted for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. You know, in judo, once the guy's both feet come off the ground, he gets launched. Even if, you know, he lost. Even if he winds up, you know, off the toss, winds up on the guy's back, it doesn't matter. Wrestling also, you know, there's no chokes in wrestling, so you can expose your neck, and if you can get the guy down, you know, you're scoring. But so you need to understand those things and try to hybridize your Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or submission grappling takedowns for those possibilities. Same thing for MMA. For MMA, takedowns, grappling, striking, everything has to be adjusted for the fact that you're fighting all three different ranges of combat. So everything has to be adjusted.
And one last question. This is from Facebook. Luca from Antarctica.
Say hi to the penguins.
He says, please, can you show a defense against a guard pass when your opponent grabs your legs and put your legs over your head to smash you?
Yeah, he could just stay there forever. I can't. So I just let him pass. Oh, that's a good stretch. Yeah. So when this happens, yeah, this sucks for me. Enrique can actually put his feet on the ground and stay here. When this happens, I'm going to strip one of the hands and take my chance. Take my chances. I'm just going to continue to fold and try to regard. I don't care. I'd rather be turtled up. I'd rather have him, you know, hunt for something than be stuck there. So, all right, strip one hand, go over, and then take your chances. There's some things you could do. There's a bunch of things you could do, but you know, obviously. So I strip. If he's standing where he is, I'm going to drive in. Make sure your head is between his legs. I'm going to try to transition. I'll make that happen maybe 1 out of 5 times. So not a good percentage. You know, so again, I strip. He drops it on the turtle. I'm going to try to roll. You know, now I'd rather be bottom of cross side. So even if this happens, I'd rather be here. You know, maybe make something happen than just be stuck pinned there. Because then you're not moving. So it depends. If you're flexible, you can stay there. He can stay there for, you know, for a minute or two, and you know, wait, you know, as you move around, trying to get through. You know, if you make a mistake, he'll punish you for it. Most people can't. I don't have the flexibility to stay there, so I just force the roll through into turtle, and then I'll feel what's happening and try to react in the best way possible. All right, guys. So we'll see you tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time, for episode 42. Stay well, guys. Stay safe and take care of others. Guys, be considerate. Don't drive slow in the fast lane.